All right, welcome to Speak for Yourself. I'm Jason Whitlock. That's Marcellus Wiley, that dude.
Yes, sir.
Coming up, we'll tell you if the Steelers should make peace with Antonio Brown.
And if James Harden's recent hot streak is really as impressive as it seems. But we start every day with a Whitlock. What you got today, big dog?
Marcellus,
What?
the New Orleans Saints, their players and their fans are about to learn when it comes to smoke, I'm Bane from Dark Knight Rises. For those of you over 40, smoke is what the kids call conflict, a grudge, or in this case, smack talk. See, Saints receiver Michael Thomas, offensive tackle Teron Armstead, and Saints fan Stan Verrett think smoke is their ally. They merely adopted smoke on Twitter. I was born in it, molded by it. I didn't breathe clean air until I was already a man. By then, it was nothing but bad odor. I am the League of Smoke. I love Dark Knight Rises. Greatest Batman movie ever, Marcellus.
I hear you.
All right, in their whining about losing to the Rams in the NFC Championship, Thomas, Armstead, and Verrett have made the mistake of blowing smoke my way because I think the Saints are sore losers. I think all this belly aching about one controversial no call is unbecoming of a true competitor and a ploy to distract from the fact Sean Payton's in-game strategy was horrific. I think it's embarrassing that a grandstanding Louisiana congressman is calling for NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell to be interrogated by the Judiciary Antitrust Subcommittee. Michael Thomas has renamed Super Bowl 53 Super Bowl Lie. The whole city is acting like Sunday was a national tragedy. You damn near think the NFL revoked all of Master P's Source Awards. Verrett started all this nonsense when he criticized my Tuesday monologue about the Saints being sore losers and called me dumb. It was textbook clout chasing. Armstead jumped on the bandwagon and called me a clown. Okay, I'm gonna let him have that one. I called myself a clown on Monday. But things got real when Michael Thomas called me precious.
Well, I do see a little resemblance, don't you? A little bit, a little bit.
See, now it's getting smoky. They don't want that.
I think they do, Precious.
Stop it, Marcellus. I was raised at the Masterpiece Lounge in Indianapolis. I've been delivering smoke since 1994. I'm going to make a peace offering that will hopefully end the madness in New Orleans. Hopefully this will stop the petitions, stop the calls for a congressional investigation. Hopefully this will dry up all the tears in New Orleans. I reached out to Commissioner Roger Goodell and asked him to rename the Saints the University of Central New Orleans Saints. Once we've renamed them UCNO, we're going to award the Saints the same national championship banner that hangs at UCF, recognizing its 2018 National College Football title. In the official NCAA record book, the NCAA recognizes UCF and Alabama as national title teams. I say we bestow the same honor on the University of Central New Orleans. The Saints whine like little college kids. Let's treat them like college kids. Give them a pacifier participation trophy. Champions of the 2019 Victim Bowl. Congrats, guys. You've earned it. All right, joining the desk now are Fox NFL analyst Mark Mangini, Eric Mangini, and TJ Houshmandzadeh. Marcellus, I'll start with you.
Yeah.
The Saints and their fans need to stop all this whining before it gets out of hand.
Who are you to tell somebody else how they feel and how to feel? That's some wise words, some choice wisdom I learned in counseling. From my relationship counselor. Something you don't know nothing about, super single. You don't know about relationship counseling. You got to work on these things. And you can't tell someone else how to feel and what to feel. And this situation, especially because they were wronged in this game. They were wronged of an opportunity. So, yeah, you can complain if there's an opportunity to gain. Everything in NFL, competition committee, which Sean Payton sits on that committee, everything about the NFL when it comes to changes and any addendum comes from a problem, an incident, a complaint, and then the turmoil that follows it. This is what they're doing. They're going through that process to make sure that they can actually make change. I don't have a problem with it. You shouldn't have an expiration date on their grievance. I don't. I wasn't on the field. You didn't have a dog in the race. So when you're in that moment and you've been wronged, who are we to say that it's over? Because it's distasteful. It's not for our palate. We're tired of hearing
They lost the game, Marcellus.
But should they have lost the game? Taste the soup. Taste the soup. So that's the thing. I think that they should continue to go with this because maybe they can evoke some change.
In Week 16, they played the Steelers, and Joe Hayden got called twice on 4th down for pass interference. And he didn't think that he did it. And there's a lot of people that didn't think that he did it. And the Steelers lost a chance to go to the playoffs, and the Saints got home field advantage. Okay, so that happened, and everybody has moved on from it. And in this situation, there was more football that went on. They had a chance to play defense. They got the ball first in overtime, just like the Patriots. They had another chance to play defense. There was a lot of things that happened after that moment. Is it disappointing that a call could affect an outcome? Yeah, but human error is part of the game, and it's been happening for a long time. Remember Des Bryant's catch, no catch in the playoffs and the effect that that had on the game? There are things that happen. You know, in terms of congressmen getting involved, the government's in a shutdown. Shouldn't we be focused on that as opposed to something that's happening, you know, in an NFL game?
Right.
So everybody, they handle failure and disappointment, and they digest it obviously very different. This is an opportunity to go to the Super Bowl. If it was me, I'd be very upset. Like, I'd be pissed off if I'm Michael Thomas and I'm on the Saints roster.
Yep.
But there's a saying, don't grin when you win and cry the blues when you lose. I mean, you can't have it both ways. It's just what Coach said. Theoretically, they should have been playing in Los Angeles for the championship game because of the call that they got against the Steelers. Joe Hayden didn't push him in his back. He went for the ball. They called PI, put the ball on the one. You get calls that go your way that you shouldn't get, and there's calls that you should get that don't go. It happens. It's football. We've all played it. You coach it. It happens. I understand where they're coming from because if it was me, I would be hot. But you got to let it go. It's not changing anything.
There's a way to be hot in private, and it's this public display and this public whining that I'm saying needs to stop. I don't blame them for being upset. You pour all that work into a season, you play that well in the game or well enough to win, and maybe a call doesn't go your way that you think should go your way. I get it. But we have gotten to the point where there's going to be Saints fans protesting at the Super Bowl. And the players and Sean Payton and ownership, Gail Benson, and this congressman are spurring all of this on. And so, Marcellus, I mean, listen, the thing about sports, the reason why it's important for young people and old people to play sports is to learn how to win and lose. Learn how to deal with adversity. They're going too far. Stop it. We get it. The refs may have, I don't believe they did miss a call, may have missed a pass interference call. They certainly missed helmet to helmet. I'm glad they didn't call that. We get it. But this over the top, and let's take this to Congress, and let's try to force a new game, and let's run petitions out there. And I'm telling you, they're going to provoke fans to show up in Atlanta. Those cities aren't that far apart, and start protesting this Super Bowl. It's too much.
Damn you, old school. I mean, you are old school, thinking you control someone else's emotional clock and calendar, and really sitting there thinking that you're right. And it's funny, you said something that is so of your generation. You 50 plus, right?
Yeah.
Right, Precious?
Absolutely.
Right, you old.
That was good, Michael Thomas.
That was good. I give him that. All right. Whitlock, you said there's a time and a place to be hot. In private, you said.
Yes.
That's called suppression. You know what? It's okay. This generation has figured it out. We didn't figure it out. Our generation, our parents, we had something wrong. Don't cry over spilled milk. Tough it out. Shut up. And you're like, wait a minute. I was just wronged in a moment. Growing up, we've all dealt with that anxiety and those issues that come from that. And this generation nailed it. They said, talk through your problems. Talk through your pain. It may look like you're whining. It may look like you're not the most masculine of type. You know what? Talk through it. And I like the fact that they are expressing what the hell happened. They were wronged. And we can't go into the scenario of, well, Pittsburgh had this and 2 wrongs make a right. No, it doesn't. And 2 wrongs don't make it right. This is a situation where they should have called that. Admit it. Should they have made that
Okay, let me
call?
ask you this.
Yes or
now,
no?
if the Saints go on and win the game in overtime, is everybody going to be complaining about the face mask call that wasn't called and the Rams probably take the lead? They're not going to be complaining. I get it. Be upset. But damn, here we are, and it's Thursday, and you still crying. It's over.
I don't like that point because that made me feel a certain way because it's always plays. You're like, why didn't you call this?
Right.
Why didn't you call that? I understand that.
Well, one thing
but this is different.
you talk about with athletes all the time is don't put the game in the official's hands. Don't make it come down to an official's call. And the other thing is the 5-second rule. Whether you do something great or you do something wrong, take 5 seconds, either celebrate it or mourn it, and in the midst of competition, you got to move on to the next
That's
play.
why you still need to be coaching.
There
Somebody
were-
need to come get this man and put him on the staff.
There were a bunch of plays that took place after that play, and my question is, did that moment, their inability to move on from that, is that the reason they're sitting at home? If they were able to move on from the no call and go win the game in overtime or go stop them on the next drive or stop them in overtime, would we be even talking about this?
Well, we would because the NFL, ring, ring, line one. Hey, we messed this up. Like, how many other plays is the NFL calling down to his head coach, the team saying,
Look
we
at the
messed
game.
up?
Sean Payton literally went after the ref for about 2 minutes after that, up and down the sideline. He wouldn't let it go. The players see that.
Right. That's
So if Sean Payton is harassing the ref like normally a player is doing that, and what does the coach say? Man, let it go.
Yep.
Leave him alone. Sean Payton was on that ref's head on his sideline for about 2 to 3 minutes, and then they gave him that gift PI call later on because it was like, okay.
Marcellus, you're calling me old school and out of date, and all I'm asking for is maturity. And again, I'm not for someone, I don't think they should let this go in 5 seconds. Okay. I don't think they should let it go in 5 days. But I don't think publicly. You don't have to put all of your emotions out for the public to see. There are some things you can handle privately, internally within yourself or with your family or with your football family. You don't have to have this big public tantrum and the whole city involved and, oh, we were wrong, and hang on a cross for while football is still to be played and become a distraction from the actual Super Bowl. Handle some of this privately. All the public whining and stuff, unmasculine, it's unwomanly, it's unmasculine, it's not adult, it's not mature, it's not the right way to handle sports. There's a right and a wrong way to lose, and they're losing in the wrong way.
Well, I mean, it all starts at the top. And if the NFL wants to handle this in a private way, well, then you don't let it be public the last 2 minutes of every NFL game in terms of officiating. You don't let it be public that you called down to Sean Payton. And
Sean Payton revealed all that.
Okay, but the NFL is a participant in that. So guess what? The dominoes are falling now. You don't need much effort to just be the next domino to fall. And so, yeah, I agree with Coach. Congress, calm down. Like, they always clout chasing the NFL to try and find something else to try and legislate over. Stay in your lane, right? But in this respect, maybe there is a greater agenda, and it's being fueled by this moment to get a greater opportunity out of it, which is change the system.
And the system, as it relates to PI and reviewing every controversial call in sports, I'm not sure if that's the right solution. And again, I'll go back to this. It all starts with Sean Payton. He's the biggest, and look, Sean Payton's a great coach. I got a lot of respect for him. But he's been the biggest baby in this situation. Going into that press conference, you know, Roger Goodell or the league or Al Riveron called me and told me, that's a private conversation.
You're right, but man, this is a Super Bowl, man. Like, what you're saying is right, but
He ain't got to tell the business.
But a chance to go to the Super Bowl, it's like, man, I got to let this out, man. Like,
But do you know how many Mondays? So after the game, Monday morning, you send in your
complaints
of calls you think should happen, and then you get back. Yeah, we were wrong on this call. We were wrong on this call. Yeah, and it affects your life, and people get fired, and things happen because of that. But at the end of the day, you're saying we cannot be in a position where human judgment decides whether or not we go or don't go or win or don't win. And that's what you're trying to control as a team.
But Music City Miracle, and it was a forward pass, and they said it was a lateral. And that was it. So in a moment like that, I had a grievance. Our team had a grievance. Now, they've come out with physics studies and said, oh, well, it is a lateral, it is a pass. But the point is, there are times where one call determines your fate. And in the playoffs, that fate is death. That season, that team, that record is dead.
Just like it was death for the Pittsburgh Steelers when they went home because of those calls that they feel that they shouldn't have got. they didn't get a chance to compete in playoffs. Who knows what would have happened if they had gotten in? So we can say, yeah, that was a regular season game, but it still affects a lot of people.
And who knows if the Saints had to come to Los Angeles to play, how the game would have turned out and played against the Rams if they lose home field advantage. Let me ask you this, because I'm very consistent on this. That's why I brought up UCF and Central Florida. I've made a mockery of Scott Frost and UCF for hanging that banner and running around for the past year and a half like they're victims. They're, oh, my God, we should have been in the playoffs and blah, blah. And to me, by doing that, they diminished a great season, undefeated, greatest in UCF history, but they got to run around like they victims because we didn't get to play Alabama or Clemson in the playoffs, and we're going to hang a national championship. I think it diminishes UCF. I think it diminishes Scott Frost. And I see a little bit different here, but again, they see themselves as victims of a system that didn't allow us in the playoffs. Well, you knew it when you took the job at UCF. You knew it when you signed the recruiting letter to UCF. If you wanted to play for the NAT, go to Bama, Michigan, Clemson, one of them other places. And in the game of professional football, there will be bad calls. The refs make them every week. What was that thing that happened, the touchdown they called in the Green Bay game where they gave the touchdown, a Hail Mary pass?
Oh, Seattle?
Yeah. Stuff like this happens all the time. And, yes, it's terrible that it happened here with a Super Bowl.
It won't be the first bad call, and it's not going to be the last.
All I've learned from you guys is basically when something bad happens, like Pittsburgh, y'all should be griping even louder. Y'all should be yelling every time. Like, New Orleans shouldn't be an example of outcry. It should be the standard. When something happens, make a mess and fuss over it. Why not?
Remove human error, because human error, just like D Ford lined up offside, it's one of the dumbest things I've ever seen.
Yeah, that's real.
It's as equally, the ref not calling that alleged PI, just as dumb. Everybody, the refs are human, D Ford's human, Sean Payton not running the ball on first down is human. That's what makes the game great. People make mistakes, including the referees.
Just accept your imperfections. Go ahead, Precious. Go ahead. I can't do it. I can't do it.
Michael Thomas is all good.
That was amazing.
You know what's not smart? Job boards that send you candidates that aren't qualified for the role you posted or send you a mile-high stack of resumes to sort through. But you know what is smart? Going to ZipRecruiter.com/speak to hire the right person. Unlike other job sites, ZipRecruiter finds qualified candidates for you. Its powerful matching technology scans thousands of resumes to identify people with the right skills, education, and experience, and actively invites them to apply to your job so you get qualified candidates fast. That's why ZipRecruiter is rated #1 by employers in the U.S. This rating comes from hiring sites on Trustpilot with over 1,000 reviews. And right now, Speak for Yourself listeners can try ZipRecruiter for free at this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/speak. If you love this show, show your support to it and ZipRecruiter by going to ZipRecruiter.com/SPEAK. That's ZipRecruiter.com/speak. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. Time for a big story. Let's move to Pittsburgh, where it looks like the Steelers may be softening their stance about Antonio Brown. A couple of weeks ago, owner Art Rooney said it was hard to envision Brown being back with the team, but now Rooney says they'd have to sit down and figure some things out. Meanwhile, his teammate, Brown's teammate, Marquise Pouncey, says Brown and Big Ben should be able to set aside their differences.
You can't tell me a good phone conversation or sit down can't get things right, man. And, they're the best duo in Steeler history. I mean, you don't want to talk to two Hall of Famers that played with each other and did so much together. I just don't understand what football and team is anymore. You know what I mean? So.
All right, it could be just a coincidence, but this morning, Brown tweeted, quote, "Open for business."
Yes, yes.
I don't know. That sounds like he's open to leaving, or I'm not sure. But look, I'm of the opinion they need to be open to moving on from Antonio Brown. He and Big Ben, I think, at this point are oil and water, and I hear Marquise Pouncey putting some pressure, in my opinion, on Big Ben to make peace here. And maybe the organization wants him to make peace so that it will enhance Antonio Brown's trade value. Because if everybody knows, well, they're getting rid of him, he has less trade value. If they can create the belief that, we're going to try to retain him, his value goes up.
When you're arguing with someone and you're in that tug of war, remind yourself why you're holding the rope in the first place. And I think a lot of times in arguments, we get caught up in the win and the loss of the argument and forget, why in the hell am I even going?
Did you learn this in counseling?
It's serious.
Yeah.
All right. Just making sure.
Can we get your counselor to Pittsburgh? That might be the way.
We're going to fire him out on Fox now, right? Get him out there. In reality, I think that's what's going on here. Like, they finally took a step back, and the emotions started to go away, and you started to see a little clearer of the picture, and you started to realize, this is Antonio Brown. They don't grow on trees every day, every decade. Like, Antonio Brown is amazing. So, yeah, he's a nag. Yeah, he's hard to deal with.
Yeah, he missed games.
Yeah, he missed the game we needed him in. But she's so fine. Like, you've been there? Like, man, she go over there. I'm like, and then you just look at that picture.
Damn, she look good.
You want to know how good she looked? Since 2010, let's see how fine this girl is. Since 2010, Antonio Brown, what's them ones over there doing in terms of, you're first in receptions, first receiving yards, and first in touchdowns, all receivers since you got in the league? That's fine.
Why didn't they put headaches up there? He's first in that, too.
Hey, we'll deal with it.
Behind OBJ.
We'll deal with it. But my point is, I think they're coming to the realization and to the understanding that we shouldn't let this go unless we exhaust all options. Smart play.
I mean, for me, it is the toothpaste out of the tube already. You can't put it back in. In my opinion, they need to move on because it's too much animosity. It's way too much. You look at the clip when they showed them practicing. Everybody has their jersey and their shoulder pads on. He got his sweater on, yellow and white with 8 and a 4. He was the only one dressed like that. And it's because of who he is, and coaches kind of let you get away with certain things when you are that dude. But AB has all the power. If he wants to go back to Pittsburgh, he's going to be in Pittsburgh. If he wants to leave Pittsburgh, he's leaving. He pretty much can do what he wants to do because Pouncey knows how good he is. Yeah. His ability is second to none, but I just don't believe him and Ben can make this work. Once Ben, when they lost to Denver, said, I should have thrown all 4 balls to Juju, that was it. Then you come out I don't think you can rectify that. I don't think you can mend that fence. And to me, open for business to me is like, man, I got to get out of here, man.
Well, I think Le'Veon Bell learned that showed us that the organization has the power. And as much as Antonio may think he has the power, he doesn't control whether he goes or doesn't go. Now, that being said, there's always this equation that you do. How productive is a guy and how big a headache he is. And as long as his production is here and the headaches are here, you move on with them. You deal with those things. But once that starts to come back to even,
you know what I call it, Coach? I call it the
back
2 Ps, production and personality. As soon as personality gets above it,
and the late Ted Marchibroda was one of the nicest human beings in the world, sat up in front of the team and said, look, we're going to use you until we can find some way to get rid of you. And he'd tell the guys who were problems that's what was going to happen. He did it in the nicest possible way, and that's the equation. But at the end of the day, these 2 guys are good for each other, and hopefully they can sit down over dinner or something, and like Marcellus said, get to what is the issue? What's the core of this issue, and how can we solve it? Because they work well together on the field.
But see, I think it's got to be bigger than just Ben and Brown and what is the issue. If I'm the Steelers, I'm asking, what's the issue with my team? I have more talent than the New England Patriots. I'm not having as much postseason success as the New England Patriots. What is the difference between us two? And I think Antonio Brown is at the foundation of what's at the difference between these two. And it's reliability.
Why can't it be Big Ben?
It can't. Big Ben could be Big Ben, but again, the organization has already said we're going to give Big Ben a new contract and extend. They're committed to Big Ben, and so now the question becomes, because Big Ben's argument is, and I don't know who's right, is like, oh, I don't get to operate like Tom Brady does. Tom Brady gets to basically dictate to the wide receivers and to the offense, this is what we're doing, and he's not questioned. I question Antonio Brown in any kind of way. He flies off the handle. He skips practices. He's not as reliable, and maybe Juju Schuster-Smith, he gets upset if I feed him the ball too much. Maybe removing Antonio Brown and putting a different receiver in there and elevating Juju to the number one, maybe that's a better solution for the Steelers.
I don't want to waste this moment. We got a man here who was in New England, won 3 championships with them. Just in contrast, what's the difference between New England and their success and that system and everything, the culture, and what you're seeing from a very talented Pittsburgh team that's underachieving?
Well, first of all, Tom Brady doesn't call anybody out. I mean, over the course of his 19 years, how many times have you ever heard him say, hey, this receiver...
Privately?
No, publicly.
No, publicly he does it. Right.
No, but and look, Tom Brady is inherently coachable. No matter, and everybody in that room is under, you all operate the same. You are all exposed to the same level of coaching, the same level of scrutiny, and to Tom's credit, with success, with fame, with money, with all the things he has, he takes that coaching. And there's a selflessness that permeates the team where you're going to do your job and you're gonna make sure that you do it as well as you possibly can, regardless of your stats. So if that means you're a box safety and you've got to play cover 2, you got to play the deep part of the field, that's what you do, and you accept it for the greater good. And in terms of personalities, have there been personalities in New England? Yeah, but they're sprinkled in, and the locker room is strong enough so that those personalities bend towards the rest of the group, as opposed to there being a core of distractions that bend the group the other way. And I think that's the biggest difference.
I mean, if it's about culture, they have to move on. If it's about the team and the culture, they have to move on.
All right, welcome back, Whitlock and Wiley. We're joined now by NBA champion Eddie House. Let's move to the NBA, where James Harden's crazy season continued last night with the Beard dropping a career-high 61 in a win over the Knicks. Over his last 5 games, Harden is averaging more than 52 points per game, and he's done it without being assisted on a single basket, which is by far the longest streak of its kind in the NBA history, which only seems to be adding to Harden's reputation as a ball hog. I'm going to color me unimpressed. Unimpressed. This is a bad form of basketball. These new rules that don't allow you to play virtually any defense on the perimeter is creating a lot of guys that are scoring 50, 60 points. Harden clearly the best at it. To do all this without an assist takes all the shine off of it from me. The guy's sitting out playing iso ball in Mike D'Antoni's system, and it's great to look at in the box score, and it's great to go online and look at the stat, but to actually watch it happen, not that impressive.
I'm impressed. I don't give a damn. You talking about like 60 is like what, the old 40 or the new
35?
No, it ain't.
No, it ain't.
No, it ain't.
Like ISO is a play. You know, like if you ever been in a basketball huddle, coach can say we got ISO right here, and you're like, all right. And it's
the only play right now.
Well, it's okay because guess what? The team is actually responded to it. If you look at their offensive rating, it's higher in the last 21 games when he's been on his tear. If you look at him in terms of what he's doing.
You know how bad the Knicks are, right?
Well, that's 21
That ain't his fault.
I said 21 games. And then look at him. He's what, 4th in assists? The guy is facilitating, doing his thing, and putting up buckets. I just don't understand how you can really be in a position to discount what he's doing.
Ball's in his hands right now.
And they're
sleeps
winning.
with the ball in his hand.
And they're winning. Nah, I'm not with you there.
I agree with you as far as the optics of it. It's not pleasing to the eye to watch that brand of basketball. But hey, to hell with that brand to being pleasing to the eye. They're getting wins, and they moved up since Chris Paul. Since Chris Paul and Clint Capella went down, he had to pick up the load. So you want him to not have the ball in his hands when he's 4th in assists, when he's their best playmaker on their team. So you want to put it in Austin Rivers to be the playmaker. So pass it to your guy who can get buckets.
That's not what I'm saying.
P.J. Tucker. I mean, you see, he got an assist.
I said I'm not impressed.
How are you not impressed with 61, though?
Because the league has outlawed perimeter defense. Everybody's scoring.
Everybody's not scoring. Who's last time somebody got 60? And
hadn't it already
it's him doing
this year?
It's him doing it.
That guy. Him again. That face.
That's why it's impressive. He keeps doing it over and over and over. I'm just going to draw a line through Wilt's name because that's ridiculous. 60-point games in their career. He has 32 of them. But when you start getting mentioned with Elgin Baylor, Kobe Bryant, and Michael Jordan, you're doing so. You got to be impressed with that. Then 60 points and 15 rebounds.
This looks like Mike.
60 points in
This
50.
reminds you of Mike.
No, Mike was totally different how he did it. Mike didn't have the jump, the threes, the amount of threes, and didn't go to the free throw line as much as James Harden does. But when you look at what he's doing, having 60 points, 15 rebounds, and then he had 5 steals with that. So that's all effort. I'm not mad. If he
it
has
all
to,
looks like Kobe's last game.
but look at though, if you getting 15 rebounds, I love that game.
It all
by the way.
looks like Kobe's
I love
last
that
game.
But if you get
60
15
points on 80 shots, it wasn't that. Stop that.
The man went 5 of 20.
I think he was 17 for 38. I mean, that's a lot of shots. But if you get 15 rebounds, that means you out there working because a rebound is an effort play. If you getting steals, that means you engage defensively. So, hey, takes a few extra shots, especially how you feeling right now.
And you talking about the effort. How about the fact that he's leading the league in minutes? That's letting you know he has to carry the load. There's nothing
And
about
plus
him that's
minus.
shying away from the moment. He's just rising to the occasion when he's undermanned. And what's the option? Give us the contrast. Okay, how could he play more effective to help this team win in a way?
That's a different argument.
Okay, so
I'm a fan. Just remember, I'm a fan over here. Y'all professional athletes. I'm a professional fan. Not pleasing to watch. Doesn't remind me of Michael or any of the all-time greats. Even Kobe in his prime. Doesn't remind me of that. It reminds me of a guy who's in a little rigged-up system with Mike D'Antoni, where he gets to do whatever the hell he wants to do, and he gets to play iso ball at the top of the key, and they call all. He gets to get out here and bait people into fouls and go to the free throw line. It's not fun to watch.
I can agree with you with that, but you say it doesn't look like Mike. No, nobody looked like Mike except Kobe a little bit. So that's why you like Kobe. And then that's James Harden. He's doing it how James Harden does it. Not how Kobe does it, not how Mike does it. He's doing it how he does it. He found a way to, hey, I could get to the free throw line. If you're a great shooter, he's a great shooter. What's the best way to start to make sure that you can get hot? Go to the free throw line, see it go in, get an easy layup. He's playing his best basketball because he's utilizing his skill set to the rules. It's not his fault that these are the rules. Hey, I'm just playing. This is how they're going to have to guard me. He's a tough guard. I'm excited about tomorrow night, though. The Raptors, and I want to see what Kawhi is going to do. Are they going to play one? He got to play tomorrow. He sat out 4 games. I think he was circled and said, hey, I got to be 100% for this guy.
I think the NBA should look at their rules and look at the product they're actually putting on the court. Ignore the little rigged-up media deal that they have where no one questions anything the NBA is doing, and instead look at, is our product any good? Are our ratings slipping because our product is bad and what we're putting on the court isn't pleasing to the eye? It's a nice little gimmick. It looks good in the record books and people can talk about it on shows, but are the fans, which I am one, are they pleased and entertained by this? There was
Houston fans are.
Yeah.
The Rockets fans are enthused that every night he comes to play, they happy to see him put up 60, 40. They happy. You just not a Rockets fan.
There you go. And this is an efficient offense. You acting like they're at the bottom of the league in terms of efficiency. They're top 8 in offensive rating. So they're effective, they're efficient, and they're just doing it a different style.
Marcellus, you grew up out here in L.A.
Yeah.
Magic Johnson.
Ooh, I do not want to see no more no-lift, no-look passes of the 80s. I respect the Magic, but that game is past, bruh. I don't want to see all that. And
you don't want to see the Showtime Lakers
Statue of Liberty dunks
versus the basketball we see now.
No, I don't. And I don't
stop it.
It's called evolution. I also don't want to see head slapping in the NFL. You love it because it was yesterday and it was tougher.
It's Magic Johnson and the fast breaking people sharing the ball. You're trying to tell me this stuff we're looking at now?
Do the no-look now. Do the no-look now. Is that going to work?
And you
no,
say,
you think Magic Johnson in his prime?
Oh, he could play. Yeah,
he could play.
Well, the greats can play in any era.
The greats can play in any era, but you acting like I prefer that over this. I prefer Golden State, free-flowing offense. I prefer I'm standing at the top of the three-point line. I'm gonna give you whatever you don't want. I love all that.
And by the way, Jay, he is in D'Antoni's system, but they're not running D'Antoni's system right now.
I know. You know what the D'Antoni system is? He just rolls the ball out there. Players do it.
Yeah, I played for him. I played for him. He let you get money.
Yeah, he's scared to death. Hey guys, Jason Whitlock here. Thank you for listening to the Speak for Yourself podcast. If you like what you hear, then you should take a minute to check out the Maybe I'm Crazy podcast hosted by the Herd's very own Joy Taylor. On the Maybe I'm Crazy podcast, you'll tap into a different take on the world of sports. Joy will break down all the biggest stories from the NFL, NBA culture, in and out of sports, and everything in between. So subscribe now for a weekly episode of Maybe I'm Crazy every Tuesday night on your favorite podcast platform. Now back to the show.
Hit him.
Whitlock and Wiley, TJ Husmanzada and Eddie House. It's time to get antisocial. My favorite segment, Darnell Smith, our social media manager.
What up, fella?
Nottingham Village's very own.
Warren Central.
Where? What village?
Warren Central?
Nottingham
Far
Village
East
Park.
Side.
You from the
Far
village?
East Side.
Come on now, I'm a Naptown legend, man. Don't play with Marcellus.
That sound like projects to me.
Hey,
It was a project.
I can't fake it.
That's why you got that gold on no more, huh?
Yeah, I had to take it off. I had to take my chain in.
Got jacked.
All right, Darnell, what's popping?
Yeah, man. We're going to start with a guy who's been giving some great content, Antonio Brown. Seems to be one thing after another with this guy. First, he had an appearance on The Masked Singer, then the Instagram video with James Harrison, and yesterday we talked about the $500,000 he spent on jewelry. Now he posted a picture on the ground with a blonde mustache and one blind dread to match with the caption, Rockstar, hashtag quiet the noise. Now, AB, this is literally opposite of quieting the noise. Has he lost his damn mind here?
I'm just, you called me an old man earlier in the show, so I'm going to shut my mouth because I don't want to sound old.
Here you go.
It just looks stupid to me.
That looks stupid to you?
Yeah, it looks stupid to
What
me.
about a man with an earring? Or a guy with a nose ring? A guy with tattoos on his back?
That's different,
A ponytail. Like, look, we all look stupid if we gonna go there. We all got our thing to express ourselves. Let that
What's
man
the matter
live.
with my earring?
I got earrings too.
I got that too. Nose,
Yeah, yeah.
I got a nose ring.
I see that.
I went all the way in.
Why don't you wear it?
Pot gold, man. Pot gold.
Hey, that's Big Papa Pump from wrestling. Y'all remember him? Big Papa Pump.
Right.
I think he lost a bet. That's what that was. He had to lose a bet, or he cut the other blonde dread out and laid it on his lip. That's the only thing I could think.
Right.
Man, let that man live. What's the problem? We all got weird expressions, man. It's all good.
I guess.
No?
I guess.
Hey, I like the earring, but I ain't no
You like
problem.
earring, not earrings.
Oh, plural.
Yeah,
So you like the deuce, right? Yeah.
yeah.
One of old school, just the one left.
Growing
Not
up,
the
in
right.
growing up in East Side of Nap, we was taught to put one earring in the left. That's a fact.
And then y'all hit
One earring.
Then y'all went to civilized society where we actually y'all got out the village. Come on, man.
They like, we supposed to get both ears?
Right. Y'all got the jokes today, I see.
All right, Darnell, what's next?
Yeah, moving on to the Pro Bowl, where there's a ton of pettiness towards the Patriots going on. No surprise here, the Kansas City Chiefs Twitter page posted this clip of Tyreek Hill signing autograph and skipping straight over an innocent Patriots fan. Then Jets say that Jamal Adams posted this video of him absolutely destroying the Patriots mascot. Adams said his hit actually sent the person inside the suit to the hospital, and he plans on visiting and apologizing to the person. New England has been dominating the NFL for almost 20 years now, so it makes sense why the rest of the league has been having a vendetta against them. And as a Colts fan, I love this. But do y'all like the pettiness towards the Patriots?
Whoa. This dude really went to the hospital?
Yeah, it came out today
He
that
drove him into
got
the ground, though.
He trying to get a lawsuit going. He ain't slick.
Ain't
Ain't
nothing
nothing
wrong
to go
with
to
it.
the hospital for.
Oh, no, look like he drove him in the look. Bam, the back of that head. You know the back of that head is sensitive.
It's a cushion. That's a man.
that back of that, boom, the back of that head.
Oh, man.
You know,
And he probably a little tiny guy.
No, look.
It's a lot of padding in there, though.
These football players, man, I had to learn this very young. Well, you know, because look, I was like 6'230" in like 6th grade.
Ooh, big dog. Big dog.
And my mother used to say, hey, man, you play too rough. You can't be playing with them little kids like that. You play too damn rough. And that's the issue here. Somebody need to tell this dude, you an NFL player, man.
No, he's not even an NFL player. He's an all-star. He's like Jamal Adams. Like one of the hardest hitting dudes in the league. Yeah, I feel for little man in that costume.
Oh,
he didn't
man.
sign up for that day.
He wasn't ready.
Went to the hospital for real.
Yeah,
Come
man.
on,
He
man.
might have had a concussion,
Play
man.
too
He got
rough, man.
stuck over there. That's old school. He got stuck.
And look at him. He ain't get up quick.
No,
You know,
he laid
mascots
on
be
it.
all
Hey.
jolly and happy. He ain't get up.
That's what they
How
should
old
have been
was the
doing
kid
to
that
Tom
Tyreek
Brady,
Hill
though.
didn't sign an autograph for? That's cold-blooded right
Not
there.
for sure, but his face, man, he was in there
He
like,
went right over him like, you got
That's
to
low down.
Get out of
That's
here.
being super salty right there. They ain't had nothing to do with.
If he's a kid, I'm signing it. But if you're an
Yeah.
adult, I might do the same
I don't
thing.
blame
I'm doing
him.
the same
I
thing.
would
Yeah,
blame
100%.
I wouldn't sign that
It's
over.
all in fun, though. It's
Yeah.
like I'm jealous of y'all.
You gonna come to me with the Patriots and you just sit, man, you better get up out of here. You should have took that jersey off
You gotta
then.
sign that, man.
There you go.
Sign that for the youngsters.
All right, Darnell, what's next?
yeah, staying on the gridiron, Raiders quarterback Derek Carr clapped back at TV pundits for questioning his lack of passion and saying that the Raiders should move on. Carr tweeted at Dana White in the UFC, quote, hey, how do I challenge a couple of these clowns on TV to a fight? I think we should start a business together where pro athletes can challenge some of these people to an octagon fight until they give us an answer. You don't know me. Stop lying. You guys like Carr's business idea here?
Terrible.
Horrible.
Terrible.
Boo-boo.
You wouldn't fight nobody with, you ain't got nobody in, you would fight any
First
players?
of all, don't let us know that we got to you like that.
Lil Smokey, huh, as you would
Yeah,
call it.
Lil
Smokey, huh?
fight you. We killing you with these words,
Hey.
it seems like, so why we gonna fight you, dog?
Challenge the wrong person and get your brains beat
Right,
in.
for real. Be
Challenge
careful
the
what you
wrong
wish
person
for.
if you want to.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be careful because this is I'm a Raider fan, right? So I don't want to go too hard. Plus, my brother loves Derek Carr, so I don't want to have to deal with him today when I get to the house talking about his quarterback. But I'm with you. We might have to move on from him, man. I mean, we do.
Wow, you going that strong?
Yeah, I'm telling you.
I thought you was gonna take care of your brother in the court.
He know that part of it. I wasn't gonna go deep with it, but I think we got to move on from him for this reason. His numbers are going down. His numbers are going down. He's not looking like the same quarterback. He's scared to throw the ball downfield. Man.
It's a roller coaster ride, up and down. But I hear what you're saying. He's not trending better.
Man, he just having fun right
Yeah, I
here.
gotta
Like,
go the other way.
man,
He
get
just
rid
having-
of him.
Yeah, he's just having some fun here. We taking this too serious.
Well, that was my
He
chance
about
to
to
get
send
shot
you a
at.
tweet today. You about to get something today.
Shots fired.
You gonna be in the octagon.
Derek
I
Carr
do
stepped
want
the
to
game
say
up,
this.
baby.
I don't know if Darnell read the fine print of his contract, but that's one of the reasons why I hired him. If anybody tries to jump on me, it's Darnell's job.
He got your back.
my back.
You know I got your back.
That's why we got you here, Big Swole.
Way back.
Way back. If Michael Thomas run up in here, I might have to protect you, huh?
All right, what's next?
Yeah, man, so this is a funny clip right here. Larry Fitzgerald decided to come back for his 16th season, and the Arizona Cardinals Twitter page made this video. Take a listen.
I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving. The show goes on. This is my home.
Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah,
Yes, sir. You got surprised he still wants to play for such a bad team?
No, I'm not. I think he's the face of that bad team, and they've given him quite a bit of money. I think he's getting $16 million next year to try to gloss over the fact they're not going to be any good.
Yeah, I mean, first, I think in building an NFL career, especially a Hall of Fame career like that, first it starts with, I want to do it. Then can I do it? And then you never want to give that up. Like, a lot of people on the outside always say, it's time for you to go. Let it go. And you're like, damn it.
When it's over, it's over.
It's over, it's over. I don't care if it's a bad team, a good team. I'm still out there living out my childhood dreams, man. Keep balling, bro.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, and the thing is, with Larry Fitzgerald, I live in Phoenix. He does so much for the community. He's just an upstanding citizen, a great guy, puts on so many charity events in Phoenix for the city, and I'm happy to see him come back. I mean, because it was a question, was he coming back?
Larry Fitzgerald need to probably play 25 years. Spend half a year with every team so he can teach the guys what to do and what not to do.
I heard that.
That's what he do.
Got a great father, by the way. Big Larry's one of the best guys I've ever met. All right, Darnell, what's last but not least?
Yeah, earlier today when I heard, Colin had an interesting point about LeBron's injury. Take a listen.
He wants to make sure people think this is no big deal. Because with Lonzo Ball being injury-riddled, Brandon Ingram's not as good as we thought. If LeBron is now getting old and this is a real injury, how attractive are the Lakers to go to? Lonzo can't stay healthy. LeBron now suffers a real injury. I think they're downplaying the injury.
I think Colin is on to something here.
No, I don't. I think he's overplaying the injury because, again, this year is all – I think they said at the beginning of the year it was about protecting LeBron's minutes and making sure he's fresh at the end of the year and fresh for next season. I think LeBron's overplaying this injury and just taking a year off.
I think the Lakers did put out false messaging, maybe not with malice, but when they kept saying it's 2 to 3 games or we'll check next Friday, when you tear your groin, when you hear it pop, it's a month minimum, and anybody who's ever been in sports knows that. So when he said it in the moment it popped, I'm like, what y'all talking about?
It's not even. Did you see how he walked off the court?
Yeah.
When you get off the court, that's at least 4 to 6 weeks, just the way he walked off the court.
So I'm like,
let me just throw this in there. I think Eddie was a witness to this. I saw Paul Pierce wheeled off a court.
Yeah, I was a witness.
He
that.
came
Then
right
he came back at a 3. And when that was in the finals.
how was that injury?
He thought it was his knee. He thought it was his knee. He thought it was his knee. But it wasn't no groin though. Yeah, groins are sensitive though, man. I don't think Colin's on to something. This is nothing right here.
Time to put on our thinking caps. We're joined by Eric Mangini and TJ Houshmandzadeh. As you all know, I'm a journalist, and we've got our resident Ivy Leaguer, Columbia's very own Marcellus Wiley. So we're going to take a deeper look at a big issue in sports. Got a special cap for our Columbia grad. Darnell, bring it out.
Oh, huh? Thank you very much.
Oh, boy.
Looking cleaner than normal. And bathe him thoroughly.
All right. Let's move to Tom Brady, who is about to make his record 9th Super Bowl appearance, and a lot of people are wondering if it could be his last before he decides to call it a career. Our buddy Jay Glazer went so far as to say that he could see Brady and Belichick retiring together if they win it all this year. While fans in the media love the going out on top narrative, many of the sports world's greatest figures, from Michael Jordan to Muhammad Ali to Joe Montana to Willie Mays, stuck around until they were well past their championship prime. I think if Brady wants to do something to distinguish himself from Joe Montana, from Michael Jordan, from Willie Mays, from Muhammad Ali, going out on top after winning and or playing in the Super Bowl would elevate his legacy. Look, it would distinguish him from the other GOATs if he did something they didn't have the discipline to do.
Okay, so as legacy is defined, certainly perceived, is what others judge you based on your life's work and what they think of you, your reputation beyond your existence on this planet. And it's funny that if that's the case, then one, let me, in priority, live my life the way I want to. This whole legacy and priority versus you got to go out on top, it's better messaging, it's a better look, it's better optics versus, damn it, I am playing a child's game and I'm playing it into my 40s and I want to play it till I'm 45 or beyond, should be the focus. And Tom Brady, if you are in decline, if you have a Michael Jordan Washington Wizards last couple of years, we ain't going to remember that. Or we're certainly not going to prop that up to a place where we're going to start to take slights at Tom Brady and his greatness. So for me, when we start saying legacy, we're giving ourselves on the outside too much power about what this guy wants to do. If he wants to go out on top, Michael Strahan, Jerome Bettis, John Elway, okay, that's great. Or if you want to go out not necessarily on top Michael Jordan, but still be the GOAT, that's fine with me as well. But if you want to just ball till you fall and go out in a big bucket of ashes and just the remains of Tom Brady is out on the field, do that as well, man, because people don't understand how hard it is to even get here, let alone do what he's doing at this age. Do it until you don't want to do it.
I think he's already separated himself just off the career he's had and the longevity of being great for such a long period. He's already separated himself from all those guys you named, number one.
Not Michael Jordan.
You don't think so? Michael Jordan wasn't great at 40 years old?
Ooh, shots.
Michael Jordan's playing a sport where you can't do that at 40 years
All
old.
I'm saying is Michael Jordan wasn't great from the time he was a starter to the time he left. Tom Brady has pretty much been great from the time Drew Bledsoe got hurt until today.
MVP last year.
And there's a 0% chance, 0% chance if they win it, he retires. 0% chance. I know that for a fact. 0%.
And Tom Brady's playing a sport that a lot of people said you couldn't play at a high level into your 40s, and Tom Brady gets hit, and Michael Jordan didn't get hit. And I think the one thing about—
Are you joining the—
Yeah, of
Well,
course.
I just think when you're talking about a contact sport versus not, you know, you got to put those into. Well, you got to put it into context just in terms of age. But the thing with greatness is you set a bar and then you surpass that bar, and that's what Tom's doing. Is he keeps resetting the bar of what greatness is, and then works to surpass it. And I like the idea of him continuing on. I do think it's probably in both their best interest to go out together, as opposed to Tom leaving and Bill staying. I think this marriage works really well for them, and when it's time to go, they should probably move off together.
You've said something. You've said several things. Both of y'all are interesting, but I don't. Do you think Bill Belichick will care about leaving at the same time as Tom Brady? I don't. Coaching is a discipline he could do till he's damn near 80 as long as his faculties are there.
It's funny because a long time ago you say, God, if I'm one of those old guys coaching, you know, put me out to pasture. And here he is, he's coaching a lot longer than maybe he anticipated. But I think the unique thing that he has is his kids are working there. And so it's an opportunity for him to spend time with the kids in a totally different context, where football season for guys who are in it with their family is you don't see them. But now the fact that he's able to work with him, I think that may put a unique spin on how long he stays. In terms of working together, it's going to be hard to find anything like Tom Brady, and it's going to be interesting to see how his legacy is affected once Tom does leave.
I think that would be the joy in it, the challenge of trying to do something without Tom.
Does he get discredited if Tom retires, Bill continues to coach, but he doesn't have that same type of success? Does he now get discredited as Tom Brady was the reason?
I can tell you there's no joy in Cleveland when he had one winning season in 5 years. And there's no joy our first year in New England when we went 5-11. So joy is...
And 0-2 before Brady got his first start. Yeah, and Bledsoe went down. It's crazy. He's going to give...
Who was it that hit Drew Bledsoe? Was it Mo Collins?
Man. Oh, no,
Lewis.
Mo Lewis.
Mo Lewis.
Mo Lewis. Oh, yeah, got him. And it's impossible to... I hate to say impossible. It's impossible to keep up this level of excellence once this marriage is broken apart. Whatever happens, like, that's impossible on the remaining individual. So Belichick is setting himself up for failures by staying there, but he also has a great challenge in saying, look, I wasn't a winning coach before Tom Brady, but let me show you that I am a winning coach, head coach, outside of Tom Brady. Maybe that's a challenge for him.
I think he would do it easily. I want to go back to y'all's point of somehow that he's already exceeded what Michael Jordan accomplished. I'm not ready to go there, and I do. And look, I'm the guy that last week said Tom Brady is the greatest athlete of this era, the greatest athlete since Michael Jordan. I put him right there with Muhammad Ali in terms of will, the competition, and all that other stuff. But if to say, Jordan went 6 for 6 in the NBA Finals. Jordan, Wizard years, I kind of agree with Marcellus, don't count. His record is unblemished as far as greatness and dominance. And I do think if Tom Brady doesn't participate in a year or two where he's fallen off and is a shell of himself, I think that's how he distinguishes himself from Jordan. He came in on top and he goes out on top. We just have never seen that from the all-time great.
It's weird if you look. It doesn't count when you're talking about Jordan's greatness, but if you want to compare his greatness to Tom Brady, I'm gonna count the Wizard years.
You have to.
You got to start.
You have to.
We splitting hairs
You
now?
can't discredit him because you are on the court.
Yeah,
you have to include it.
Jordan individually was great from day one. His team wasn't. And Tom Brady, his team was. He wasn't necessarily. But guess what? Tom Brady hit the ground running. That team, they won 11 games that year when they were 0-2 and 5-11 the year before. Then they won the Super Bowl.
Well, I just need to pump the brakes a little bit. We scored 3 offensive touchdowns in the playoffs that year that we won the Super Bowl, and one of them was Drew Bledsoe. So Tom has matured into that position. And the only thing I'll say, Jason, about on top that distinguishes Tom in my mind is he keeps resetting what on top is. And that, to me, is what distinguishes him as a great athlete, is every time we think there's no way this bar is going to be surpassed, he then resets what it is.
How many Hall of Fame players over the course of Tom Brady's career offensively did he play with? Randy Moss probably is the only one. Would agree?
Yeah, we got
Edelman, I'm going to put in the Hall of Fame.
Man, if you don't get out of here, if you don't, come on, Jason.
What ballot?
Gronkowski's going to the Hall of Fame. Edelman's going to the Hall of Fame.
Are you serious?
There's defensive players that'll go to the Hall of Fame.
Defensively, offensively, Gronkowski, Randy Moss. I love Julian Edelman. There's no way.
He's going to the Hall of Fame.
If they do, then they should let everybody in the Hall of Fame.
No, they shouldn't. Because, again, just remember this. Terrell Davis, part of his argument for getting in the Hall of Fame was his playoff postseason success.
But you can't control. We're all off subject now.
2,000 yards.
But you can't control. Like, Julian Edelman was lucky to be drafted by the Patriots. Like, you can't control that. You just can't. There's not one coach in the NFL that will take Julian Edelman. Not one. Including Bill Belichick, over Antonio Brown, Odell Beckham, Julio Jones, A.J. Green, Michael Thomas, Keenan Allen. I can go on and on and on.
One of those guys that wouldn't love to have Julian Edelman's postseason resume.
If you get into enough postseason games.
Where do you think Gronkowski rates?
He's a Hall of Famer.
100%.
Well,
yeah.
100%.
Gronkowski's a Hall of Fame. Him and Randy, my whole point is Michael Jordan played with another all-time great in Scottie Pippen. Yeah. And so Tom Brady didn't have that. He played with Randy Moss a short period of time. He had Gronkowski his whole career. So
yeah, where's his Pippen? Tom Brady didn't have
His
a
name is
pivot.
Bill Belichick.
No, that's Phil Jackson. Don't you do that.
I'd add Dante Scarnecchia, the offensive line coach, into that Hall of Fame discussion. He's done incredible things there over time.
No
But very little, right?
Last week included. But listen, man, don't compare Phil Jackson and Bill Belichick. It's just not the same. The football is so much more difficult to coach 53 as opposed to coaching 12. I don't want to discredit Phil Jackson, but he's not Bill Belichick. Whitlock and Wiley, Eric Mangini, TJ Husmanzada, and I still arguing about Julian Edelman.
Man, and facts over here.
All right, let's move to Dallas, where Cole Beasley tried to soften some of his comments from earlier in the week when he said the Cowboys front office dictated which receivers get the ball. Now Beasley says he wasn't singling out the Cowboys, adding that every team's front office influences the game plan, and he's not upset about it. But Cowboys Vice President of Football Operations Stephen Jones disagreed, saying, quote, I would hope that's just his frustration, but certainly not at all the case. We don't get involved in that. The only thing we ever do is decide if we're going to pay players a lot of money or if we're going to trade for players and give up big picks. I'm on Cole Beasley's side here in this dispute.
I wonder why.
Just,
That's your little friend now. Huh?
because Stephen Jones to sit here and act like front offices don't get involved with the game plan. There's a reason why they got a little earpiece so they can listen to the play calls. There's a reason why they got a little bat phone so they can call down to the sidelines. Front offices around the league, and we talking about Jerry Jones's team?
He ain't even use the bat phone. He used to come on the sideline. I was there. I was like,
So
Jerry.
Edelman, Cole Beasley's on firm ground here. And Cole, thank you for retweeting my Whitlock.
Right.
Smart man.
Look at that. I'm on the Cowboys side in totality. Like, look, there are moments, there are incidents. I've been on teams where a guy was up for one of those. He could get a salary bonus if he gets 2 more carries, 3 more yards, and just crazy enough, he didn't play that game. Crazy enough, you know what, the game plan said something else. And I was like, damn, where'd that come from? Capologist came, he's like, look, dude, we got to pay this dude if we don't have to. I've seen it leveraged against the players, but I'm with the Cowboys in general. Like, this is crazy. I don't know what coleslaw is getting this information from your boy. Your boy getting this from. He's trying to have nuanced, deep debates on Twitter. Strike one. Like, you can't clarify yourself. You're just going to lose your day, lose your mind on this. Stephen Jones is absolutely correct. We're not trying to get involved with Cole Beasley getting touches. And Cole Beasley, you got catches. You had opportunities. You are a #1 receiver. Hey, you just got to take the L's when they happen.
Yeah, I've never been a part of a situation where someone from the front office called down to the sideline and say, run this play or run that play. I think Cole Beasley has never been in a coaching meeting. He's never been in a scouting meeting. He's never been in any of those meetings, so it's hard for him to speak definitively about what happens. Now, I have been in a meeting where an owner told me that I needed to throw the ball more the week we were playing the 32 ranked run defense. That happened early in the week. So there is some influence by ownership, and there is some influence from the front office, but it's not necessarily, it's not cut and dry, same every situation that I've been in.
I mean, I see it both ways. Cole Beasley, if your targets drop when Amari Cooper's there, it's like, oh, the front office wants him to get the ball. If you're the front office and Amari Cooper isn't getting his targets or getting the ball, when you have that meeting with the ownership Monday or whenever you do after a game, why wasn't Amari Cooper, why was he only targeted 3 or 4 times? We need to increase that. We need to see if we're going to pay this guy the type of money that we're going to have to pay him. So let's see if he can be that guy. Game plan changes, more plays for Amari Cooper. That's what happens.
Yeah.
But that goes on every team.
Right.
That's every team in the
Nowhere
NFL.
it doesn't go on, New England. That's where it doesn't go on. And to me, that's another reason why that works out, because
or if it's not the owner, is it the GM, the front office people?
Bill is the GM. So once people start trying to justify draft picks, once you start trying to justify big name free agents or big money free agents, that's when things get sideways. Instead of going with what the coverage is, you're trying to force the ball. And I know you get frustrated by receivers who demand the ball, and I do too. It's when it starts being about justifying or selfish interests that's when everything gets sideways.
I mean, the receivers that demand the ball, they always feel like, if I'm getting the ball, we winning. That it comes from a good place. I'm just trying to give you guys the mindset of if I'm getting the ball and I'm the best receiver on the team, more than likely I'm helping the team win. It looks and comes off as selfishness, but it's really, if I play well, the team does well. Yeah. That's where the mentality of the diva, it's not being a diva.
Until you're double coverage, then it doesn't work out well.
And that's why the other guy on the other side gets off, and that's where you have those teams that have two real good receivers.
Time for our approval rating segment. We're going to take a look at Michael Thomas. Uncle Jimmy obviously is here to help us. You going on a space? You're a welder, spaceship, what? What is?
Yeah, out of space.
I actually do welding work. I'm a heavy-duty, big-body extension repair artist.
Every time. You are nuts.
That's what I do.
You ain't working.
All right. Well, we had a conversation about Michael
Matter of
Thomas.
fact, I got a big job tonight. Hurry up.
Get your strength up, huh?
Here's a highlight of us talking about Michael Thomas and the Saints. I think all this belly aching about one controversial no call is unbecoming of a true competitor and a ploy to distract from the fact Sean Payton's in-game strategy was horrific. But things got real when Michael Thomas called me precious.
Well, I do see a little resemblance, don't you? A little bit, a little bit.
See, now it's getting smoky. They don't want that.
I think they do, Precious. Good.
Look, man, the Saints are sore losers. That was the conversation. They need to stop all this whining and complaining. Uncle Jimmy, what's your take?
I'm conflicted. I'm very conflicted. Very conflicted. My third ex-wife, Medessa, her whole family from Louisiana. Matter of fact, Medessa's mama, Mattie Sue McDaniel, she made the best Creole Cajun crawfish in the state of Louisiana. Mean in the kitchen, bro. Hey, man, let me tell you something, bro. She had 40-inch biceps.
Oh, my Ma.
She could wring butter out of one and get maple syrup out the other one. You understand what I'm saying? And purdy. Purdy, you understand me?
So,
my heart, well, here's what I'm saying. Excuse me, apologize. My heart, I'm just simply saying, she make me do that. My heart, I'm saying, my heart's with the people in New Orleans, Louisiana. My heart's with them.
All right, so you agree with Michael Thomas that Super Bowl 53 is Super Bowl lie?
No, I said I'm conflicted. Michael Thomas, on everything, really need to keep Precious' name out his mouth. You know, Monique's in that movie, Precious.
Yeah.
Uncle Jimmy and Monique, we go way back. We got a little history.
Way back? What you mean? You and Monique go way
Precious is one of the finest movies ever made. One of Lee Daniels' finest pieces of work. You know, matter of fact, that's for that role, Monique won an Oscar.
No, way back. We'll go back to that. Y'all go way back.
You and Monique go way back. She one of your 5
You know, man, you need to
ex-wives?
mind your business, man, for real. For real. You need to check yourself before you wreck yourself, Merk Ellis. I'm gonna tell you, man, because I'm real private about my personal life. See, that's the problem with you youngins. No class, no discretion. Always sticking your nose where it don't belong.
Well,
And then you tell all your business on yourself.
well, do you agree with Jason? Saints are sore losers. You agree they whining?
Hell to the no, I don't agree with Jason.
Smart.
But let me tell you something. If Monique had not won the Best Supporting Actress, we was gonna riot. the Saints is handling this thing with some dignity, with some dignification.
What?
If I was Sean Payton in there,
Yeah.
hey man, I would join Colin Kaepernick and Nessler and demand that Big Boy, Travis Scott, and Maroon 5, all of them refused to play at halftime. No justice, no peace. Ungaba. And nephew, for you over there, let me break this news to you.
Ungaba.
For the past 10 to 12 years, your nickname at the family reunions has been precious. Hell, if you called your mama right now on the phone, what's she gonna answer the phone and say? Oh, hey, Precious. What, you just thought you was so lovable? What, you just not realizing this? It took the Twitters to tell you this?
Look, man, we're gonna move on to our approval rating of Michael Thomas.
Let me get some of them links, Precious.
He kind of got in his feelings about
Thinks
this.
thinks he won't smoke with me, but he really doesn't. I get final say-so here with my approval rating.
There you go.
Job performance. He had a great regular season, but he pulled a little disappearing act when it mattered most.
One game.
So I got him down to a 17. We talking about right now.
I agree.
Job performance, I got him down to a 17. All-time greatness, I'll give him a 4 right now. He's got a little starter kit going on a great career. Character.
Wow.
Character, I'll give him an 18. Messing with old people, you know, like me. Why you talking smack on your elders, man? I'll give him an 18. And then authenticity, I'm gonna give him a 22 because I swear, if you're gonna talk smack on me, talk smack the way he did. That was funny.
Yeah, man. You need to put a little more respect on his name. His job performance is much higher. Michael Thomas is one of the best receivers by production in the NFL.
Not last game.
Yeah, that's why he ain't at 25. He at 23, but you got to give him respect, man. I don't know enough about his character. I like the fact that he came at you, so he's authentic. All-time greatness higher than that. 2 Pro Bowls in 3 years already. Fast track to a Hall of Fame career. He's rolling, so respect to him.
I got him at 61. You got him at 69. We both got him at role player. Not much difference.
Yeah, but
You
got
don't
him at
want no problems. Want no problems with me. You don't want no problems. Want no problems with me.
That is not the look.